Welcome to the Alchemy Experience podcast, where transformation isn't just talked about, it's lived. I'm Erin, and around here, we're turning breakdowns into breakthroughs, pain into power, and survival into serious thriving. Whether I'm flying solo or vibing with a badass guest, we dive into all the things on health, creating beautiful relationships, and building wealth. We're keeping it real, raw, and ridiculously empowering. It gets a little juicy, a little bit wild, and super inspiring. This isn't just another podcast, it's your permission slip to evolve loud, proud, and on purpose. Let's go light the world on fire. Welcome back, loves, to another episode of the Alchemy Experience. I have Lisa with me today. I am so excited to dive in with her for various different reasons. We've met recently, and I just right away was following you and drawn into the work you do because I kind of geek out on organization myself. So there's a whole thing. But so you own a company called Organize
Mhm.
365. You are an author, among many other things. And so tell my peeps on my side of the world a little bit more about you, what you do, and your vibe here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. Such a pleasure to be here. My name is Lisa Woodruff. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm 54 years old. I keep telling everyone how old I am because I think it's really helpful, especially as women. We have so many seasons as women, and the older I get, the more I realize, ooh, how old you are really defines
Mm,
kind of the potholes that you're going into and then moving out of. And
yeah.
we think like
Yeah.
we're the only one and everybody
Yes.
else has it together. And like, how is it that we're running into all of these brick walls? And now I realize, oh, there's a series of brick walls. And I now know kind of when you're going to hit different ones. And yeah, just through my lived experience of experiencing life, I analyze a lot of things. And then I draw observations. And my playground is the household. Always has been. When I was a kid, I babysat and I organized the houses that I babysat in. Then I got a degree in teaching and I organized all the teachers and all the buildings that I was in. And then I had my kids and I stayed at home for a while. And on play dates, I would organize people's houses when I was doing the play date. And then I started an organizing company the year that I turned 40 with the goal of somehow creating a passive income stream. Now, there is no such thing as passive, but like where I didn't have to trade my time
Yeah.
for dollars. And so along the way, I realized organization was a learnable skill. And so I started the podcast and then I created just a few products that don't exist in the marketplace. I patented them, I started manufacturing them. And then I really try to teach you how to systematize and operationalize your household because we all live in households. But it's like we don't have the school supplies we need. Like there's no systems. We all have to generate them from scratch, which is ridiculous because every single other woman has done the same thing. Could we like crowdsource, please?
Yes.
So I try to skip a little bit and make it a little bit easier for people who are running households.
Amazing. Amazing. What's your probably, I'm just fascinated because I think, you know, speaking of women, right? I'm very much, I'm a transformational practitioner is what I like to call myself because yes, I do coaching, yes, I do counseling and therapy. I'm a social worker by trade and a therapist and all that jazz, but really at the root is I'm helping people transform their lives. I'm really their mirror to see the things that maybe they can't see yet in themselves. And so I really love that aspect. Um, and so when we dive into being a woman in that way, right? So I
Hmm.
have worked with men. I do work with men, but my primary focus is really working with women, especially women who are, they've done so many remarkable things and then get to the space of like, okay, this is it. Like
Yeah.
this is it. And it's like we can re identify ourselves and recreate ourselves at any season. And you've done that, which is remarkable and beautiful. And so when we look at that, women in business, right? Because men, it's typically men. Like this is what we see because it is such a grind, right? And so when we see women in business doing amazing things and succeeding, it's like just so next level, like I love it. So I'm interested because you mentioned patenting and like that is something that as women you don't hear a ton, right? We
Yeah.
like maybe we'll
Right.
get our PLLC, but we're not like getting out there patenting many things, That's like it's a whole
Mhm.
new level. So what do you think is your your top patent thing that you've put out there, and like how did you get to that? Like what was this process and journey?
So I've only patented one thing, and it's
Okay.
the Sunday basket. And I still can't even believe I got a patent. And the patent is actually in the way that the box is collapsible. Like that you could patent a collapsible box to this day is amazing. But the divider is off center, so it's not totally divided in the middle, and that's how we got the patent. I only have one patent, but I think I have over 20 trademarks, and we over 100 copyrights. And so, what I would say to you ladies is that your intellectual property is worth something, and you should market in the world so that people attribute things to you. And then the other thing I would say is I think that the reason why we don't see as many women in business or being as vocal in business is a couple of things. Number one, there aren't many who have made it beyond, $1 million, $10 million, $100 million. Like you could probably count everybody that's above $100 million because women are so busy doing it right now. Like it takes a long time to make $1 million business, a $2 million business, a $10 million business, like 20 years. Like they're still in the process of doing it. And when you're doing it, you don't have enough time to be like, hey, I did the thing, because
Yes.
you're still doing it and you're still figuring it out and making payroll and all of that. But the other reason why I think we don't see as many women as we do men is not because men don't want women in these positions or that women aren't capable. That's not it at all. There are two distinct reasons. Number one is the woman is already running the household, and the
Yep.
household is a full-time job, and it is 68% of US GDP. So every single woman is already running an economic enterprise.
Yep.
So that is number one. So any woman who owns her own business is running two businesses
Yep.
already, the household and the business. And then I can't remember the other point. So maybe it wasn't important.
But
I
that's
don't know.
real. And that is
Yeah.
what so much of my, the transformational piece that I work with women on is like, you're already doing all the
Yeah.
things. It's how do we take what you're doing and capitalize on it in a
Yeah.
different way, right? It's like I can, and I'm sure you're like this too. One of my gifts is being able to see the potential in people before they do.
Yep.
And I just love that. I love being able to, it's funny. I have women just that I'm friends with, right? That like a handful of years ago, I'm like, listen, like this is what I see for you. And then like now they're like doing that. And I'm like, oh my God,
Yes.
how do I bottle that,
Yes.
market that part of me, right? So it's such a cool adventure. I think it's what an amazing skill set that
Mhm.
you honed in on and said, you know what? I'm gonna share this gift I have and pass it to other people. So
Mhm.
amazing. So cool. So I shared this with you when we first hopped on before I was recording. For those of you that aren't watching on YouTube and are just listening through the podcast, I'm holding up your brand new book. You have several. This is your
Mhm.
sixth book, which is just,
Yeah.
I have a couple books. It is a labor of love, man. And so this is Escaping Quicksand, which the title is just captivating, right? So I love that. The 10 steps to overcome the overwhelm of modern home life. And so
Yeah.
this is just really cool. I'm so grateful that you let me have a copy of this so that I can dive in. I just received it yesterday in the mail and I posted a picture of it because I was like, ah, so exciting. So, super proud of you for continuing to write your
Thanks.
stories and all of that because I know how much goes into it. It is time, it is energy, it is an investment. So, tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about what this book has in store for people that are looking to maybe tap into this part of what you have to offer.
Yeah. It's a couple of things. So, number one, I've written a lot of books on being productive and being organized, and that's what the whole company teaches you to do. But the mission of Organize 365 is to help you be productive and organized so that you have more time to do what you're uniquely gifted and purposed to do. Like, not to be perfect, but to get your time back. So, that's what I want you to do. And as I went to write this book and I was really thinking about it, I was like, I could write another organizing book and people would buy it. But really, what we need is the precursor to that. Like, what happens before you're able to get organized? What happens when you're literally down at rock bottom and you realize you're not at rock bottom, you're in quicksand and you can go even deeper? And you're like, what the heck? I thought I was as low as I could go. And now I'm like stuck down here. How do I get out of this pit of despair? And it turns out that there are a handful of mindset shifts I needed to make in my 40s in order for the effort I was putting in to manage and organize my household to stick and gain traction. And so these are the mindset shifts I made in that decade.
So great. What a beautiful gift. And I am in my 40s, so this is
Thanks.
going to be significantly helpful for me to dive into and just learn from you. What do you think is the top step? So you have 10 in here. I'm sure there's more little
Hmm.
mini steps
Hmm.
within there, but what do you think maybe the number one mindset or strategy or thing?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go with step 6, which is you are a woman of excellence, not a perfectionist. So going into my 40s, like even like in grade school, I couldn't get A's and B's. I always had this floating C. I wasn't not a straight A student. I wasn't even an A B student. So like, that's not very good. But I loved school and I put in all the right effort. But turns out I was dyslexic and whatever.
Oh.
I couldn't get the grade, so I couldn't achieve that perfection. And then when I got married, I would like, I'm gonna paint a room, and my husband would be like, you missed a spot, and I'd be like, dang, I can't be perfect. Like I can't do things perfectly, and I would judge myself mercilessly, and I would just try harder, and all these things. It just didn't work. So in my late 30s, early 40s, I was like, I'm not a perfectionist. Like, stop judging me. Like, I'm not a perfectionist. So you do you, but I'm not able to achieve that level of excellence. So just, I'm not a perfectionist. And that was fine because I stopped accepting judgment from others and I kind of gave myself a pass, but it was kind of like a pass as in like I'm not capable, so I'm not going to be a perfectionist. Not that it's not attainable, which it's not. And so somewhere in my mid 40s, I replaced I'm not a perfectionist with, but I am a woman of excellence. Like I put excellent effort in everything I'm doing. I try to the best of my ability. I use all the resources I have. I bring the best energy to the problem, but I know that it's not going to be a perfect solution. And once I realized there was excellence instead of perfection, not only was I deflecting the judgment that was being given to me when I wasn't being perfect, I stopped judging myself and I replaced that with grace. And once I started living in excellence for a while and talking to other people about being excellent, they reflected back that I gave them grace and I didn't judge them. And then they stopped judging. And that's the difference between perfection and excellence. It is the internal judging yourself, holding yourself accountable to a standard you can never meet and everyone around you, or giving yourself grace and loving yourself and everyone around you. Like my husband said the other day, like, you literally just don't judge anyone or yourself. I go, no, not at all. He goes, how did you do that? Like he goes, I watched you do it. How did you do that? And it was this. I just realized it wasn't a thing. And also it wasn't a character flaw for it not to be a thing.
Hmm. Yeah. I think judgment is so hard because ultimately, if we're judging
Mhm.
someone else, we're probably deflecting, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you're looking at
Yeah.
somebody and then you're like, okay, well, actually, there's a part of me in that, or that was
Right.
me, right? And
Right.
to that point of excellence and women of excellence and men too, anybody, I have found that those that are ahead of me per se, I don't like to use the term ahead, but that are maybe further along in their business, have unlocked certain codes for themselves, right? That they don't judge because
Right.
like they were where I was, right?
Oh,
And so
yeah.
when I look at that, The Gap versus the Gain, which is a great book if you've ever,
Oh, I love that book. I've
yeah,
been in Dan Sullivan's courses, like, yeah, his program, like, love Dan Sullivan.
so great, right?
Yeah.
So that whole idea of like focusing on what we've gained because it's far actually more than the gap, we can collapse time so quickly when we
Yeah.
unlock the codes for ourselves when we're in the right rooms. And so I think when we put ourselves in rooms with people that are just a touch, you know, ahead of the game and unlocked some codes, it's palpable,
Yes.
And so I
Yes.
think you've done that, and so people that are in my world that are listening, if they are looking to advance in their career or get organized or want to build their own business, this is such a great thing to just add into their mindset shift of like, okay, how do I start reaching out, reaching up, being in rooms, following Lisa because you're just doing your thing, like
Yeah.
you're not competing, you're not judging, you're like
No.
this is some tricks I've learned along the way and I'm ready to share. And so I think it's amazing. So what is like what are you doing now? So now that the book is out and you have this $1 million business, this beautiful thing that you birthed and created, like what's sort of your track now?
World domination. No, just kidding.
Let's go. No.
Just always wanted to say that. So
Yeah.
now I've said it.
It's a good place to
No,
say it.
yeah, right, right. I figured it's kind of in alignment. I think that, we make choices in our 20s and 30s as women. And somewhere I came up with the narrative that I was only allowed to choose once. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. I hear about your second act, third act, and this
Yeah.
idea that we can keep choosing. Well, we can also keep growing and learning. Like you're saying, the book, The Gap and the Gain, like listening to this podcast, listening to podcasts. Like nobody listens to these kind of podcasts that isn't growth oriented. And there honestly aren't that many people out there that are growth oriented. It's kind of surprising to me.
Mhm.
But once you're growth oriented, like it's your crack. Like, what else
Yes.
can I do? And once you have your own company, like pretty much it takes 5 years in order to truly be profitable and not be sweating payroll like daily. And then there are still seasons where you will, but it gets easier. As you keep going, we're in year 14 of the business. I asked my team last week, I was like, so here's what I think I'm going to do next. And they are all like, yes. I said, is anybody going to stop me? Anybody at all? And
And
they
they're
were
all
like,
like,
no.
nobody's
And
gonna
I
say
was
a
like,
thing.
no. I was like, so I literally could like basically do whatever I want to do. And I think we think as adults, there's somebody that's gonna like say you can't do that, or that's too big, or whatever. There isn't. Like, I just want you to know there isn't. So here's some examples of the things that I've done lately, and you'll be like, wow, she really is testing this theory.
I love it.
Um, so my kids are 24 and 26 years old. And my daughter, who's 24, lives with us, has two kids, a 2 month old and a 4 year old. I love being a grandma and seeing these kids every day. So when the 4 year old was one and I was turning 50, I decided to go back and get my PhD. So in
Why
June,
not?
I will graduate with, yeah, exactly. Now you would say, do you have a grant or a loan for this? No. Do you have, are you going to earn more money when you have it? No. Are you going to go work at a university? No. Just getting it because I want to get it. And my husband's like,
Right.
you are crazy. And I'm like, I know. But the reason I'm doing it is one, because I mean,
You
I'm
can.
dyslexic and I had A, B, and C's, and I am getting a PhD, you guys.
Because you
I did get
freaking
all
can.
A's,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
one B. I did get one B. But I can, and there is no limit to that. And the reason I want to get it and what I'll be doing is research, self-funded research on whatever I want to do it on. I don't need a grant. I'm not taking anybody's money. Like I'm doing my own research, and I have a degree in applied psychology. So we're going to take the interventions that I've made for the household and we're going to test them in the real world, and we're going to replicate our studies, and we're going to have other people replicate our studies so that they are have consistent, significant findings over time, not just done once and then published in a journal. And I think that that is countercultural. And basically, how are you going to stop me? I'm running my own research. Like, I
Mhm.
love it. The last time we had a psychologist that was doing academic level research around efficiency was Lillian Gilbreth in the 50s, and she was the cheaper by the dozen lady.
Yeah, yeah.
And psychologists are not studying home organization in that way. They haven't been for 75 years. And I'm like, why the heck not? Do you know how many great organizational solutions are out there in the marketplace? But those people don't have PhDs. And
Yeah.
so they aren't doing academic research with their solutions.
So
So I'm
great.
going to.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Right?
You guys, no one can stop you. You can go do whatever you want. It's
Listen, I
great.
don't think anything is crazy. I have some wild ass ideas that people look at me
Yeah.
like, and it's funny. So I have, I've had my private practice for a handful of years and my coaching practice for a few years. Really in the last year, I've ramped up, right? Like I dabbled in it, and this past year has been pretty explosive, which has been a beautiful thing.
Yay. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's just, because it's meeting people like you, it's meeting
Mhm.
people that are just connection, right? And being like,
Yeah.
okay, how can I serve? And just really truly serving. And it's such been just a beautiful thing, right? And so, um, it's wild because as we grow and decide to just explore what we can do, there's no
Yeah.
there's no limit, right? And
Oh,
it's funny, just in the last probably 6 months to a year, my husband has been like, oh, like liking my stuff, seeing I like what you're, okay, I get it now. And it's so funny because he
yes.
mentioned to me I'm sure you've had this experience too. We were sitting on the couch one night and he's like, you manifested this. And I was like, well, we did this together.
Yes,
We did this. He's like, no, 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 you did.
exactly.
I just like ended up realizing. He's like, you just had to keep going. And it's funny. I'll share this little story with you too, and then we can kind of talk about how manifestation and just like our limits. So I was making the bed every day for years, like years. And one day I walk in my room and the bed's made and I'm like, am I losing it? I'm like, make the bed. He's like, yeah, I've seen you do it for like the last 10 years. I thought like maybe I could help sometime. And now like he does it half the time. I do it half the time, right? And it's so funny because
Wow.
I could say for like for a decade, it was me, right? And it's just so funny how when we are consistent, no matter what it is, making the bed, writing books, sharing our gifts, when we're consistently just showing up in our real abilities and just continuing to give it a go, it ripples through people. It just might take a decade, but they'll get it.
I I always say that when I was doing in-home professional organizing and early in the blogging. I haven't said it a lot lately, but whenever I would organize a family, whenever, and it was almost always the woman who called me in to do organizing. And she was like, "Well, my kids, well, my husband, blah, blah." I was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're just going to keep going. And trust me, they are just going to
They'll
follow along
follow in
like
line.
little ducklings.
Yeah.
Like when you get it set up, they're just going to use it. They're going to follow the label. They're not going to undo it. Like they're going to like just follow along. And I'll be darned if 9 times out of 10 they call me and they be like, I mean, they just follow the system. I'm like, I know. You put a system in, they're going to do it. And
Yeah.
then the fun thing is, if you had 3 kids, if you had two, it wasn't always true, but for 3 kids, for sure, bar none, there is always an organized kid there. So as soon as I could figure out who the organized kid was, I would say, "Hi, you all have to follow what he says or she says." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "This is your organizer. When I am not here, they will set up the system. You guys have to follow that system because you keep breaking the system and you're frustrating them, and they know how to set up the systems intuitively. Just let them do it." And then I would say, the moms, "Are you overwhelmed? Doing what? Fine, let them set up the kitchen." And they're like, "Well, how do they know how to do it?" I said, "Do you know how to do it?" They're like, "No." I was like, "Great, let them try." And they're
Mhm.
like, "I'll be darned, my kid is my organizer." Yeah, you're gonna have one, and just let them do it. So yeah, and then everybody follow the system,
Yeah. It's
and they
wild,
just
right?
follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we are, speed of the leader, speed of the gang, right? Like if we
Mm-hmm.
continue to lead
Mm-hmm.
ourselves through the process, if we get off kilter, they will. But when we jump back on, they will.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Yes.
totally agree.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. What a great combo. I love this so much. So, where can people find you if they're looking for just inspiration or some tools, or maybe they want to work with you in some kind of capacity? Where do you hang out most on the in the world in the social medias?
So where I hang out most is Instagram.
Okay.
And then once you get in the Organized 365 community, you end up in our private app. And
Okay.
the reason why I have a private app is because, well, not everybody wants to be on Facebook and Instagram. And also, once you're on there, it's very distracting. And I don't like my students distracted. I only want them distracted by me. And then, but really, in the app, I mean, you're talking about organizing or settling your parents' estate or going through depression. And I mean, yeah, you probably share that stuff on Facebook, but maybe not to the level that you're going to share it in the app. And I don't want your family and friends to accidentally come across something where you're being vulnerable and then not be nice.
Yeah,
So we do it inside of the app.
beautiful.
But the website is Organized 365. The podcast is Organized 365. If you just want to hear me ramble about things that you thought you were the only one that was thinking them, and then I say them out loud, and then I analyze them, and you're like, "It sounds like you're in my head," because I am, because we're all kind of the same.
Mhm.
That's the Organize 365 podcast.
Amazing. I love it. So I will be sure to put those things in the show notes so people can access those, access your book, access, the tools that you have to offer and just get a little taste of your world. So amazing. So as we wrap up, what I like to ask this to everybody. So if you've listened to some of my episodes, you probably have a
Yeah.
little bit of a teaser, but um, if you were to leave one little nugget, one word, one phrase, one little nugget, what would it be today?
You are enough.
Mm, it's one of my favorite
Hmm.
phrases.
Hmm. You're
Sometimes
enough.
we're enough.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you do. I know it's deeper than just organization. It's confidence, it's feeling good in who you are, it's feeling enough. So, this has been such an amazing conversation. I'm sure there'll be more to come with us connecting and connecting each other with cool people in the world. So, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Alchemy Experience. If this episode lit something up inside you, go ahead and share it with someone who's ready to rise too. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me online on all social media at the Alchemy Experience. Because transformation loves company, and together we all rise. And hey, don't just survive this week. Thrive like you frickin' mean it. Let's go let it up. Talk soon.